Hello, I'm Flora, speaking out, really out, because I'm in my back garden, a bit of a change. Thank you for joining me today. I want to reflect on something that dates back exactly 90 years and brings us up to the present. I'm talking about my first and last dictators of my life, both Americans. I'm talking, when I say first dictator, I'm talking about my first memory of a dictator. It wasn't Hitler or Stalin or Mussolini or Franco making hell overseas. Not many Americans were talking about them then. We were already deep in the Big Depression. In fact, I think the very first I heard of Hitler was one of those little, I don't think they have them now, little newspapers for elementary school students. I don't know if the state published it or the city or the county, but trying to bring children around 10 years old into some kind of familiarity with what was going on in the world. And I remember the only reference I remember to Adolf Hitler was how warmly they welcomed him when he took over Austria, and how kind he was to animals. Very instructive, you see. Anyway, but when I was 7 years old, Americans were very much agog over the assassination of Huey Long, governor and then U.S. Senator of Louisiana. It was 90 years ago this month that an enemy shot him down. Americans didn't altogether realize, and I think very few people have heard of him now, very few, that Huey Long was running what amounted to a fascist government in the state of Louisiana for 7 years. He was elected governor in 1928, the year I was born, served 4 years and 2 years as U.S. Senator, aiming, he hoped, for the presidency, and he might have got it because it was the height of the Depression. He was elected a populist, promising the moon to frightened, poor, hopeful, angry people. He played upon their angers, encouraging them. He played upon their grievances. He promised them that he would be on their side no matter what. He promised them everything. And once he became governor, he took total control of the state. He cowed the legislature into terrified obedience. He controlled the election process, including those who counted votes. He controlled the state militia. He bribed, he bullied, he blackmailed, he threatened, he used the courts, he had them twisted around his finger, and of course he used and abused women. The saying about him at that time was, if you back him, you'll get anything you want. But if you buck him, God help you. When he became U.S. Senator, though there was another governor that he oversaw the election, he still controlled the state. The new governor was his mouthpiece. He aimed for the presidency. And as I said, he could have got it, being the height of the Depression. Mostly, we've forgotten Huey Long. Too scary. Too scary to think how easily a state in the United States of America could be taken over and run along fascist lines. He was the first dictator I ever heard about. It's dangerous to forget people like Huey. They have a way of returning. And of course, we have one like him right now. We've forgotten the taste and smell of fascism in our country. He has figuratively returned, but now it's a man with presidential powers. Worse now than in his first administration. I remember a line in an old black and white movie, I think it may have been a silent movie, in which a man watching the formation of a new dictatorship, an old man like me, an old woman, did you think you could live and never see the beast again? He's well in his way. Our American federal government now is almost unrecognizable. This one also has cowed Congress, stuffed the Supreme Court, ignores federal laws as far as it dares, trying very hard to change the electoral process, putting sycophantic fools and fanatics in positions of great federal power, sending National Guard into states, into cities, against the protest of both governors and mayors. He is ignoring as much as he can the constitutional, the Bill of Rights, and federal laws. I love smelling the capture of immigrants. I love the smell of deportations, he said the other day, which was, of course, a paraphrase from the movie Apocalypse Now. I love the smell of napalm in the morning. I love the smell of deportations in the morning, Trump said. Sending desperate people fleeing to this country, trying to escape torture and death. The smell of their fear as they're sent back or sent to worse places. As far as I know, Huey Long didn't have racial or cultural scapegoats the way most dictators do. This one has made it very clear, the Hispanics, and the Supreme Court has just allowed profiling in the Southern California area. That is, the ICE agents are allowed to pull someone apart because he or she looks Hispanic and has perhaps a low-paying job, push them against a car, manhandle them, cuff them, if necessary, throw them to the ground. This, I hope, the one I'm talking about now, is my last dictator. In 3 years, at the time of the next presidential election, I will be 100 years old. And I would just say, as an aside, I've promised my children I will not die until I've had the joy of voting our present dictator, would-be dictator, out. That is, if we're still allowed voting by mail ballots. We will see. It's my hope. In the meantime, what shall we do? March, sing, laugh, shout, tell the truth, witness to memories, memorize the Bill of Rights, and never forget again the smell and the taste of fascism in the United States. Thank you for being with me.